wanted to ask this. So, the pandemic hits, which is going to induce a ton of fear, right, in the marketplace, myself included, right? And each of you, maybe, from slightly different angles, are still in a sort of a buying posture, right? So my question for you guys would be, what sort of mental gymnastics did you do to find yourself comfortable transacting in this environment versus waiting? What was your mindset around that? Because I had a handful of buyers that I was helping when this started, and a couple of them pumped the brakes, understandably, and I'm totally supportive of that. And then I had some that, Ahmed, like you, the great Warren Buffett says, be cautious when others are greedy and be greedy when others are cautious. And so this is a time when there's been a lot of caution out there, and some people are like, great, let's buy. This is a great time. Rates are good. So I guess for any of you on the panel, like, how did you make peace with buying in this environment?
I mean, David, you just went to escrow during this pandemic, like a little in the middle of this pandemic.
Yeah.
What was your thought process?
Well, so again, I was maybe not going into it as strategically minded as perhaps I should have, but I work in Silicon Valley, and I've been doing a 4-hour round trip commute every day for the last 2 years from Oakland. So I was like, I was done with that. And so I put my house on the market before the pandemic hit. The second weekend of showings was during shelter in place, as shelter in place was just about to be imposed. So I sold my house just in the nick of time to be without a house and staying in my sister's guest bedroom. And so I was highly motivated to find a place. But so the question of how I balanced the risk and the fear, it was partly the question of, our price is gonna tank later and I will end up having paid way too much. And as the weeks went by, I started realizing in the Bay Area, I don't think that's gonna happen. They might not go up as fast, but I don't think they're gonna plummet. So that was one aspect of it. Terel was great at being very thoughtful about what our strategy would be. And then just on a very personal level, I think I probably had a light version of the coronavirus earlier on. Not diagnosed, but enough that I am telling myself I'm probably not going to get a worst case of it later. So I wasn't personally feeling at risk about going into a home and visiting it in person.
Yeah, and actually a lot of people probably think that they have some kind of exposure to coronavirus.
Yeah, I know. Every time I cough, I'm like, maybe it's now. Yeah.
Yeah. And how much of that consideration regarding the interest rate being so low right now? I mean, does any one of you say like, man, the interest rate is so low right now, I better take advantage of this?
I definitely think that, although I was reading an article on CNBC that was saying that rates could fall down to 2% sometime next year. I think Helen and I were texting about that, but I think that, again, I think the lower the rates, I mean, it's gravy for buyers in the Bay Area, right? I mean, we're so tied to the NASDAQ. And so the NASDAQ's recovered. We're pretty much close to all-time highs on the NASDAQ. I mean, my check was when the pandemic hit to see if I can open up lines of credit against my assets. Mm-hmm. And I was able to do that. And I was like, okay, I'm ready to go as soon as I get an opportunity. But I didn't get that much opportunity in real estate. So I started buying stocks. Not as sophisticated as Judy, but I bought call options.
Okay.
I bought call
and you're
options
more
on a bunch of
sophisticated
tech
than me
companies.
Because by no means am I an expert.
No, but I mean, again, I hadn't thought of the preferred share option. I mean, I was just buying, risky call options, but I was like, you know what, I know what my downside is, but my upside is going to be very, very nice if things go in my direction. And, my initial check is to see what the lenders are doing. So if I can open up lines of credit against assets, that means that they're well capitalized. They're okay. They're not fearful like they were in 08 and 09 where they were canceling credit lines. So I was just ready to buy something that was a good opportunity. I mean, there was no good opportunities. I mean, there was nothing cheap in real estate around here.
That's true. That's true.
Unfortunately.